Yo, what's good everyone? Thank you for tuning in to today's video. As you can see from the title, it is that time in the month again. So in today's video, we will be taking a look at my top 10 upcoming sneakers for the month of February. Now, before we go ahead and actually dive into the video itself, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of my returning subscribers. If you are new around here and you haven't done so already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, if you do go on to enjoy this video, if you could give us a massive thumbs up, that's always truly appreciated. And if you do want to reach out to me outside of YouTube, you can find me on Instagram under ACS Sneakers. And now all the formalities out of the way, sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and dive straight into this video. So before we go ahead and actually dive into the video itself, I just wanted to let you guys know that doing this video this month was actually a lot harder to do than pretty much any other month since we started this segment on the channel. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, I drop a brand new video at the start of every single month taking a look at my top 10 upcoming sneakers for that particular month. So in this particular case, February. Now, in order for me to do these videos, I get a lot of my information from the Source Suppliers website, and throughout the course of January, I've been checking all the time to see if there's been any updates on the release calendar, and unfortunately, information seems to be pretty hard to come by. So I've had to actually broaden my horizons and look at other outlets in terms of upcoming releases. So for example, checking out Sneaker News, House of Heat, JD's release calendar, Foot Locker's release calendar, and everywhere else. And to be honest, a lot of them do seem to have conflicting information about release dates. So I definitely do want to suggest that you do take these dates with a pinch of salt. Some of these dates might be more based on US releases instead of UK and vice versa. So do take this information with a pinch of salt, but I definitely still wanted to bring you this video. Even though it was a lot more difficult to narrow it down, I do feel like I picked 10 really good releases that a lot of you guys are going to be excited to take a look at. So with all of this rabbiting said and done, we now just go ahead and just dive straight into the list. So to kickstart this month, our very first release, we have the Nike Dunk Low Marina Blue, scheduled to be releasing on the 3rd of February for a retail price of £90. Now I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of over this whole dunk hype. I never really was in it, to be completely honest. It's just never been something that I've really been too focused on or had too much interest in. Like the majority of people, there are certain releases that of course I absolutely wanted, but for the most part, like a lot of you guys that are watching this video now, I pretty much just take L's, whether it's the Dunk Lows or the SBs. They are still very difficult to get even after all this time. The dunk hype kind of isn't where it was in 2020, even where it was in 2021 remains to be seen as to whether that's going to continue this year. But nevertheless, specifically for this Marina Blue colorway, 100% this shoe is going to sell out. It's a really clean, really simple, easy to wear shoe. And as we approach those warmer months like spring and summer, people are probably already getting their summer and spring rotations ready. So this is definitely a shoe that I think a lot of people are going to be really interested in. But in terms of the actual release itself, it should be releasing on the Nike app and not sneakers. When it comes to these Dunk Lows, only very specific releases go onto the sneakers app. And then for the rest of the time, it's pretty much all on Nike's app. So do bear that in mind. So next up, we have our first entry by Jordan. As the next release is the Air Jordan 6 Low Chinese New Year. And this is scheduled to be releasing on the 4th of February for a retail price of £180. That's right, this shoe is releasing for £180. There has been a little bit of a price hike from Jordan brand across all their silhouettes, so everything seems to have gone up about £10 or £15. And to be honest, I do think that this shoe will be the first casualty of that price hike. We did see the regular price point in January because a lot of those shoes had been pushed back into the new year. But as we move further into 2022, the new price of £180 is pretty much going to be a standard for a lot of the Jordan retros, both highs, mids, and even lows. And I think, to be completely honest, as a person who bought a lot of sneakers by Jordan last year, it's kind of a little bit of a sour taste, I'm going to be completely honest, and it definitely means that I am definitely going to be a lot more selective. I did see the review from Wear Testers for these Air Jordan Low 6s, and to be honest, I don't really like the Jordan 6 Low in general. I don't really like many of the lows, the Jordan 5, the 13, the 12s. There's just something about it that I don't like. It looks a little bit off. But if you are interested in picking up this shoe for yourself, I would highly suggest checking out the Wear Testers review. Very insightful as always. But the shoe itself is pretty decent. Really nice colorway. The hits of gold kind of reminds me of the DMP6s, and there are certain elements of the shoe that I actually do really like. But as I was saying at the beginning, I do think that this shoe will be a casualty of that higher price hike, and I think if for me, I'm considering reducing the amount of Jordans I buy this year, I imagine that the casual consumer will definitely be put off by that 180 price tag. So for me, to be honest, I think this shoe might actually sit. Don't take my word for it. If you really want it, definitely go ahead and actually try and get it. But I do think that these will sit. So the next shoe up on our list is actually one for the ladies. So next up we have the Nike Dunk Low Venice, scheduled to be releasing on the 6th of February for a retail price of £100. Again, this is kind of one of those shoes that's kind of come out of left field for me, and it wasn't something that I was immediately aware of. To be honest, the first sight of this shoe actually came from End Clothing. They've just recently put up their raffle on their website. So immediately I went and checked it out, and to be completely honest, it is definitely one of the nicest releases in my opinion for this month. Again, like the Marina Blue, it's a really nice, almost spring, summertime vibe to it. But I'd argue that this is probably a lot more wearable for a lot more people. Even though this is a women's release, I can definitely see a lot of the fellas wearing this colorway as well. And I definitely feel like that multi-use purpose to it, and the fact that more people can actually enjoy this colorway, will mean that a lot more people will be going for it. Like the other Dunk Low on this list, I do see that this shoe is definitely going to sell out. And once again, it should be available on the Nike app, not sneakers. And it should also be available via your usual raffles, just like every other Dunk Low. So it definitely seems like Nike are going full steam ahead with the Dunk hype in February. And the next shoe up on our list is once again another female exclusive. Next up, we have the Nike Dunk Low Valentine's Day, scheduled to be releasing on the 12th of February for a retail price of £110. I'm not sure why there is a price disparity in terms of the Venice colorway and this colorway. To be honest, the shoe doesn't look any more premium from one shoe to the other. I mean, maybe the Valentine's Day one, the leather looks a little bit nicer, but that just could be texturing and have absolutely no value in terms of the actual leather used on the shoe. But nevertheless, in terms of the actual shoe itself, I actually personally really do like this colorway. I really like what they did with it, other than that absolute mess of whatever they've put on the Nike swoosh. Why? I think if you can actually trim off that like rubbish around the swoosh, this would actually be a really great colorway. And it's just super clean, super versatile once again. It's a mixture of a few different types of materials by the looks of it. Looks like on the toe box maybe they're using canvas or ripstock or hemp or whatever they're using. Looks really interesting. The leather actually does look really good on this shoe. It looks like a pretty decent quality. Sometimes the pictures can oversell it or sometimes even undersell it, but it does look like a really interesting shoe, and it is something that I'm going to be going for a review. So this is going to be one of those rare occasions where the Dunk Low is actually going to be releasing on the Sneakers app and not Nike app. So if you want the Venice colorway, head over to the Nike app on its release, but if you want this one, it will be available on Sneakers, and like every other Dunk release, there should be a multitude of raffles for you to enter as well. So moving on to the next shoe up on our list, and considering we will be halfway through February at this point, this might actually be the very first pair of shoes that I pick up in February. Next up, we have the Air Jordan 5 Racer Blue, which is scheduled to be releasing on the 12th of February for a retail price of £180. And also, rumour does have it that this shoe will also be releasing in full family sizing. Yay. Once again, the 180 price point is a little bit of a sticking point, and there are some other shoes that are releasing throughout February that I am absolutely buzzing for. So this is going to be a shoe that I'm definitely going for a review at the absolute minimum, but it does mean that instead of picking up 3-4 pairs a month, it might be a case I can only get 2, and realistically, there's a couple of other shoes that I'm more excited for than this one. Let's not take anything away from this shoe. The colorway itself is absolutely fire. That all black upper mixing with that really nice hit of that racer blue on the midsole just looks absolutely incredible. And for me personally, I love the Jordan 5. I would love to add this shoe to my collection, but it really just depends on other shoes that I pick up throughout the entire month as well. So I'm kind of playing this by ear. I'm going to enter for it. I'm going to be going for it for a review, but whether or not it actually stays in the collection kind of remains to be seen. But it will be available on the Sneakers app as well as everywhere else, such as Raffles, Foot Locker, maybe even JD, not yet confirmed, but these should be readily available if you do really want them. So moving on to the next shoe up on our list, we have 110% a must-cop shoe for me. Next up, we have the Air Jordan 12 Playoff, scheduled to be releasing on the 19th of February for a retail price of £180. Now for me, I've been scouting this release since I saw the Sneakers release calendar. Absolutely stunning shoe. I'm glad to see it back. And to be honest, not everybody in the UK specifically loves the 12, and I can't really think of too many people that I associate myself with that even own a pair of 12s. But for me, I'm gradually building up what I would consider a very decent collection of 12s. I have about 3 or 4 pairs at the minute, but these ones are 100% a must-cop for me. When it comes to the 12 in terms of releasing, I think that this shoe will probably sit, to be completely honest, at a few different places in Europe, but I can definitely see that this shoe selling out in the US. You know, they love the 12s over there. Shout out Shoes Up, Sleeves Down. He absolutely loves the 12, so he'll definitely be getting a pair as well. I think if you are in the UK and you do love the 12s like I do your best to actually get the shoe, but I would definitely err on the side of caution. I mean, if you want to enter raffles and you win a couple of pairs, it's a lot easier to pass a shoe on for retail or even return it than it would be to go out and pay resale to StockX or GOAT. But for me, definitely going to be copping this shoe. It will be available on Sneakers. There will be raffles available as well. And good luck to everyone who's trying to get it, especially me, because this shoe has to be mine.
Shut up and take my money.
So next up, we do actually have a shoe that's scheduled to be restocking rather than being a first release. Next up on our list, we have the Yeezy 500 in the blush colorway, scheduled to be restocking again on the 19th of February for a retail price of £180. I'm going to be completely honest, the 500 is decent. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the look of the shoe, but it's never been something that I've looked too much into. So when they said that this shoe was a restock, it came as a complete surprise to me. Apparently this shoe did release, I think, around December 2018, maybe early 2019 in certain places. But to be honest, I really paid no mind or no attention to this release in the past. But seeing it now and having a new appreciation for the 500 since I had a pair a couple of weeks ago, definitely means that I'm keeping my eye out for a lot more of these releases. The 500 doesn't necessarily excite me too much. If it is a shoe that I can get for retail, absolutely fine by me. But it isn't something that I'd be going out and paying resale for or anything like that. It is a really nice, really neutral, really nice, simple colorway. But is it a must-cop for me? I'm really not sure. It kind of is what it is. But this shoe should be releasing on the Adidas Confirmed app. And like all Yeezy releases, it should be available via raffle as well. So after a really quiet January, Jordan Brand is going crazy in February as we have a really exciting release again. Next up, we have the Air Jordan 3 Cardinals, scheduled to be releasing on the 24th of February for a retail price of £180. The release date's got me kind of skeptical, I'm going to be completely honest, because the 24th of February is a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So in my opinion, I see it more likely being the 26th in the UK rather than the 24th, but it could always release whatever day they decide, so kind of do keep your eye out for that. I'm not exactly sure. Raffles haven't been listed. No information has been put out on Sneakers. I actually saw the 24th date being listed on the Foot Locker launches page, but we all know how unreliable that information can be, so definitely do take this with a pinch of salt. But just to focus on the actual shoe itself, the whole reason we're here, the shoe looks absolutely incredible. Everything about this shoe is just amazing to me. They've redone the shape of the toe box and it looks even more like the OG than a lot of these newer releases that we've been seeing. Everything about the quality of the upper looks impressive. The leather looks great. The colour blocking is fantastic. That mixture of that yellow, that red, that white, everything about it, absolutely beautiful and 110% another must-cop shoe for me. But when it actually comes to the shoe itself in terms of selling out, Jordan 3s do tend to be a lot easier to cop than a lot of other Jordan retros. There doesn't seem to be the same kind of love for the 3 like there is for the 1s and the 4s. So I could see the shoe sitting, to be honest, but I'm not entirely sure. It is a really nice colorway. It is, again, the first Jordan 3 of the year. And because of the fact that the materials look so good, the build looks incredible, this shoe very much could sell out. So I'm going to be doing all my footwork for it. I'm definitely going to be going for it, but I'm not exactly sure if it will sell out or not. It should be available on the Sneakers app, and it will also be available via raffle as well. So moving on to the next shoe up on our list, which is once again another release by a Jordan brand. This time it is the Air Jordan 1 Brotherhood, scheduled to be releasing on the 26th of February for a retail price of £155. Again, to reiterate for anyone who missed it, who maybe have skipped through the video, the Jordan 1, like all other Jordan retros, has been given a £15 price hike. So whatever was $140 last year will be $155 this year. And that's just going to be the standard before you then have to pay resale on top. In terms of this release, do I see it selling out? I'm not sure. It is a Jordan 1, so it very much could do. But the colorway, for me at least, definitely leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not a massive fan. I really only included it in this list because A, it's a Jordan 1 and that tends to do quite well, and B, the fact of the matter is there isn't very many releases I could pull from because New Balance and Yeezy definitely playing their cards a lot closer to the chest. But I'm not going to write this shoe off just yet because a lot of the time when it comes to these releases, like all sneakerheads, my opinions can change when you actually do see the shoe in person. So even though the colorway is kind of leaving a little bit to be desired on my part, this is definitely a shoe I'm going to be trying to get just for a review at the very minimum. Like all Jordan 1 releases, I can still see this shoe selling out. It may not resell for the same value as a lot of these more hype Jordan 1s. And I think in the last couple of months, we've seen a lot of probably much nicer colorways going for even better prices in terms of the fact that most of them are sitting around that retail price point even at resale. So for example, the Marina Blue, they came out, they're not going for too much. The Pollens, the handcrafted, so many decent Jordan 1 colorways are going for decent prices right now. So this one could potentially sell out but still be going for a reasonable price even at resale. This shoe will be available on Sneakers if it does release in February. It could be pushed back, don't shoot the messenger. But if it does release as is scheduled, it will be on the Sneakers app and it will also be available via raffle as well. And last but by no means least, we've reached the final release for February, and unfortunately it doesn't actually have a confirmed release date as yet. Everywhere I've seen is rumouring that it will be February, but in my opinion it could potentially go into March before we see this release. So next up we have the Air Jordan 4 blank canvas, scheduled to be releasing at some point in February for again a retail price of £180. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I do think that this could also be a women's exclusive. So I wouldn't be surprised if they either dropped it around Valentine's Day, or if that's not the theme or that's not the case, maybe even going then into March. To be honest, it's a blank canvas, and I think it's a canvas upper that they're using, so the name's quite apt in terms of the actual release. But is it something that I need personally? Probably not. Is it something that my missus is probably going to want? Probably. So this is definitely a shoe that I'm going to be closely monitoring as we move throughout the month, and if there is any new information that does actually come up about this release, I will make sure to update you guys in the community tab as well. I mean, the release itself though is actually pretty interesting because, you know, it is a canvas upper, so I imagine if you actually remove the canvas from the upper of the shoe itself, there'll be some interesting design underneath. And we've seen Jordan Brand doing this quite a lot recently with, you know, other releases as well, and also Nike have done it a few times as well. So I will definitely be interested to see the shoe in hand and see how it looks after that canvas has been removed. It could just be a canvas upper and you're not supposed to remove it, so definitely don't take my word for it. Do your own investigation when it comes to this release. I haven't seen too much about it. There isn't an abundance of information or even a lot of people talking about it just yet because the release is seemingly quite far away. But it is definitely one to keep your eye out for. If you love the Jordan 4, it is going to sell out. Let's be honest, Jordan 1s, Jordan 4s never really sit on shelves for too long. So for me, this shoe definitely going to sell out. If it is a women's exclusive release, it's going to be even harder to cop. And as far as I'm aware, it should be on the Sneakers app and it should also be available via raffle as well. And just like that, we've finished my top 10 upcoming sneakers for the month of February. I'd love to see what you guys are looking forward to the most, so do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you have stuck around to this point in the video, I do want to say a massive thank you. If you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video. And I hope to see you all again in the next one.